I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who hired a stranger to follow her husband, but here I am. And that stranger? He's sitting across from me at a coffee shop, calling himself Ethan, sipping his drink like we're old friends catching up. Except, he's not a friend. He's the man who walked out on me when I was 5 years old. Yeah, my father. And I hadn't seen his face in 26 years. I remember staring at him, thinking, you've got some nerve, showing up out of nowhere, looking older, grayer, but still carrying that same smug calm. I asked, why now? He didn't flinch. To help you, he said. To find out who your husband really is. And just like that, I slid the envelope across the table. Inside was everything. Carter's erratic behavior, the messages I'd half read on his screen, the passwords I didn't want to admit I knew. I need to know if I'm crazy, I said. Ethan didn't open the envelope. He just nodded and said, you're not, that night. Carter's sitting on the couch, half watching a game, one leg bouncing like it always does when something's on his mind. Mentor meeting go well? He asked. I nodded. Yeah, long, but good. He raised an eyebrow. You sure you're not having an affair? He smiled like it was a joke. But it wasn't. Not really. Because the way he asked it, there was heat behind it. The kind that didn't match the question. And I should have snapped back. I should have asked, who checks my location every day if you trust me so much? But I didn't. I just walked to the sink and stared at the drain, letting the silence speak. Later that night, I sat on the edge of the bed, scrolling through old photos of us. Vacations, anniversary dinners, those dumb selfies in front of the Christmas tree, and all I could think was, when did I stop feeling safe with you? I used to believe Carter was the only person who ever truly saw me. Now, I'm not even sure he was ever looking. So here I am, catching up with the man who abandoned me, to find out if the man I married is lying to me. Wild, right? But trust me, this story is just getting started. The first real shift came that Wednesday night. It was subtle, too subtle. Carter walked into the kitchen, paused for a beat too long, and asked, real casual, you heading to the city again tomorrow? I nodded, not looking up from the cutting board. He took a sip from his beer, leaned against the fridge. Same guy, right? The mentor? I glanced at him. Ethan. Yeah. He smiled, tight. Right, Ethan. The way he said it, like the name tasted off in his mouth. I went back to chopping. But my heart? It started doing this anxious little dance. He was fishing, and I knew it. And the worst part? I let him. The next morning, my phone buzzed as I sat in the parking lot across from that coffee shop. Message from Ethan. He followed you yesterday, parked 2 cars back, waited 47 minutes. I read it twice. Carter was following me? I didn't know whether to laugh or scream. I looked at my reflection in the rearview mirror and whispered, he thinks I'm the one hiding something. I stepped out of the car, walked toward the cafe with more intention than usual, and greeted Ethan, a.k.a. the man pretending to be my long-lost dad, with a hug I knew Carter would notice, if he was watching. Inside, I asked Ethan point blank, has he cheated? Ethan shook his head slowly. Not yet, but he's circling the edge. He slid a few printed screenshots across the table. One was Carter on a random Reddit thread about spouses hiding things. Another showed a late-night Google search, how to clone someone's phone without them knowing. My stomach twisted. How long do I let this go? I asked. Ethan looked me in the eye. Until you see who he becomes when he thinks he's losing you. Back at home, things got weirder. I caught him checking the laundry, which he never does. He left his phone face down every time he walked into the room. And then came the question that cracked everything wide open. We were brushing our teeth. Just a normal night. He turned to me mid-rinse and mumbled, if I lied to you for a while, would you want to know or just live in bliss? I froze. He spit, wiped his mouth, and smiled. Just a hypothetical. I didn't answer, because I suddenly realized Carter didn't want truth. He wanted reassurance. And the thing is, I wanted to give it to him. I wanted to believe this version of him was just scared, not dangerous, but I couldn't ignore the signs anymore. I started sleeping with my phone under my pillow. I double-checked the locks. I stopped telling him my plans. The man I once trusted with my whole heart was now a stranger, spying on a woman he thought was cheating, not knowing she was the one running the test. Here's the thing about paranoia. It doesn't protect you. It exposes you. And Carter? He was about to show me exactly who he really was. You ever watch someone break in real time? Not physically. I mean emotionally. Watch them crack right in front of you and still pretend they're fine? That was Carter. The night he finally snapped. We were eating dinner. Lasagna? His favorite. It was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that makes forks scraping plates sound like sirens. He pushed his food around for a while, then dropped his fork. Didn't even look at me when he said, "So, how long have you been sleeping with him?" I blinked. What? He finally looked up. His eyes weren't angry. They were hollow. Tired. Wild. That man you keep meeting. Ethan, you think I haven't noticed? He laughed. It was short. Bitter. You've been sneaking off to be with him for weeks. You leave smelling different. You come back, glowing. I couldn't even speak. And this part. This is where my brain short-circuited. He said, "You act like I'm the crazy one, but I've seen you with him. The way you touch his arm, the way you smile, the way you look at him like he means more to you than I ever did." I whispered, "He's my father." The air froze. His jaw clenched. His eyes darted across my face like he was trying to find the lie. "You're what?" "My father," I said again, this time slower. "The one I haven't seen since I was 5. You know, the one you never asked me about?" Carter stood up so fast. His chair nearly tipped over. He backed away from the table like I'd slapped him. "This is some kind of cover," he said. "You don't meet your estranged father 3 times a week in a coffee shop and laugh like you're on a date. You think I planned this?" I snapped. "You think I wanted him back in my life?" He paced. "You lied to me." "So did you," I shot back. "You tracked my car, checked my location, went through my emails. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd spiral. Oh, so it's my fault you lied?" "No, Carter. It's your fault I had to." The silence that followed was suffocating. And that's when I knew it wasn't about Ethan. It was about control. Carter didn't want the truth. He wanted ownership of the version of me he'd created in his head. The loyal, predictable, always smiling wife who never gave him a reason to question himself. And now he was standing in a kitchen full of evidence that I had my own mind, and he hated it. That night, we slept in the same bed, backs turned, not speaking. He didn't touch me. I didn't offer. But his breathing, it was shallow, restless, like he knew. This wasn't just a fight. It was a fracture. The saddest part? He wasn't mad that I'd lied. He was mad that I didn't need him to find the truth. Some truths don't just come out. They detonate. I waited until Carter was calm. Not better, not loving. Just still. He was on the couch, half watching something on TV. I don't even think he saw it. His mind had been somewhere else for days, probably replaying every hug, every smile, every moment between me and Ethan. I stood in the doorway, holding the folder. He looked over. "You okay? Can we talk?" I asked. His jaw tightened, but he muted the TV. "Sure." I crossed the room, sat on the edge of the coffee table, placed the folder in his lap. "What's this?" "The truth," I said. "The one you've been digging for behind my back. Thought you might want it straight from me." He flipped it open, and that was it. His whole body stiffened. Photos, dates, surveillance logs, his own face in half the shots, following me, watching me, parking 2 blocks away and thinking I didn't notice. "What is this?" he asked, voice tight. "A report," I said softly, "from the man you thought was my father." He froze. "I hired him 6 weeks ago. He's a private investigator. You—" His mouth opened, then shut. "You had me followed?" "I had me followed. Because I needed to know if I was crazy, or if you were." His face turned ghost white. He ran a hand over his mouth. Didn't say a word for what felt like a lifetime. I broke the silence. "I didn't tell you he was an investigator because I needed you to act naturally. And you did. You snooped. You stalked. You questioned. You spiraled." His hand started shaking. "Do you have any idea how messed up this is?" "Oh, I do," I said. "Do you?" He stood up so fast, the folder hit the floor. You think this proves something? That I'm some monster? That I don't love you? No, I said. It proves that you don't trust me. That instead of talking, you accused. Instead of listening, you spied. And now, I paused. Now you want to play the victim. He was pacing, breathing hard. I can't believe you did this. That you planned this. I didn't flinch. I didn't plan for you to fail, but you did, all by yourself. He stopped pacing, looked at me like I'd become someone else. Was any of this real? And I'll be honest, that hit different. Because it's the question I'd been asking myself for weeks. Maybe it was, I said. But not anymore. That night, Carter didn't sleep in our bed. He packed a duffel bag, walked out without saying goodbye. And you know what? I didn't stop him. Not because I didn't care, but because I did. For myself. He thought that was the end. That walking out with a duffel bag and a wounded ego somehow made him the one who got hurt. But endings? They don't just happen. You have to choose them. Just silence. The kind that isn't peaceful. It's performative. I could tell Carter wanted me to chase him, to cry, to beg, to admit he was right, and I'd gone too far. Instead, I was sipping tea on my porch, watching the last of the summer leaves let go. Ethan, yes, the investigator, called that morning. You ready to hear what I found? He asked. I thought I already did, I said. He paused. Not everything. He came by that afternoon. Same manila folder, thicker now. More details, more clarity, more receipts. I wasn't going to tell you unless it was solid, he said. But now, you deserve to know. He opened the file. Inside were messages Carter had deleted months ago, between him and a woman named Avery. Not cheating, technically, but close enough. Late-night texts, flirty jokes, and one that said, if things were different, I'd be yours already. My stomach turned, not because I was shocked, but because it confirmed what I already knew. He was never loyal. Not in his heart. He just needed to feel in control. And when he couldn't, he self-destructed. I looked at Ethan. He failed the test. Ethan nodded. But you passed. The next day, Carter showed up, didn't knock, just stood at the edge of the porch like he wasn't sure if he still belonged in the picture. He looked thinner, like regret had been eating him more than guilt. I thought you might call, he said. I didn't. He glanced down. Can I talk to you? I folded my arms. Go ahead. He stepped closer. You really hired that guy to test me? Yes, that's messed up. I tilted my head. So is calling your ex at 2 a.m. and telling her you wish I wasn't in the way. His mouth dropped. You went through my phone? No, I said. He did. I handed him the folder. Same one Ethan had given me. He didn't open it. Didn't need to. His silence was the confirmation. He finally spoke. I didn't sleep with her. I know, I said. You just wanted to. He sat down on the porch steps. Looked like a man who'd just watched the version of himself he tried to protect vanish. So what now? He asked. And that was the moment I'd been waiting for. Nothing, I said. He looked up, confused. Because the man you became when you thought you were losing me, that's who you really are. We didn't fight. We didn't cry. We didn't kiss or make some dramatic plea for closure. He just stood up and left again. But this time, I let him go. For real. And the piece that followed? It wasn't loud. It didn't announce itself. It just settled in. Because sometimes, the best revenge is not revenge at all. It's knowing you trusted yourself enough to walk away before someone else decided for you. So, viewers, here's the question. Would you ever test your partner's loyalty? Would you rather know or stay blind to keep the peace? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your story might be the one someone else needs to hear. Thanks for listening. Until next time.